Well, the time has officially came where the ZR1 is back at the top of the food chain. The Chevy gang is just doing what they're supposed to do. And it's not really surprised me, because I did a video a while back where I explained like, yo, what was GM goal like to come out with the ZR1 and then they came out with the ZR1X on top of that. And well, they proved my point here. Like, we don't have no Nürburgring track times of the ZR1 as it is. So what are they chasing after? Are they really trying to beat the Mustang GTD as they know the numbers? And this is their way of like saying, hey, we got to drop the X because we know the X is guaranteed to beat it, or what? All this, like, GM really gained like being the fastest production car, American car at that, at the Nürburgring. And I must say that's like a huge accomplishment, a huge feat, just doing something like that. Because one thing I must say I give GM credit is that they take the same engineers that built the car from a blueprint, spec'd it out, designed it, and then on top of that, they have those guys come back and then they put them on the track to test the car, because who knows the car better than the engineer that built it, right? And that's pretty dope within itself. And the numbers that they did was like 650 for the ZR1, and then the ZR1X did 649. That's pretty dope without having a professional driver in the car. I mean, that's not an easy task at all, especially on the type of track that the Nürburgring is. And then major shout out to Mustang for even competing with their car. And I must say I like the Mustang a little bit more, and I explain my thoughts about it. But they did a 652 at the Nürburgring, and that's pretty dope too. So they still right there as always, and that's something about American history, American muscle cars, that the Chevy, Dodge, and Ford, we always go back and forth wondering like, yo, who's the better car, who got the best one? And then that leads to like the car culture and in the streets, like, yo, we got this, like, what you gonna do, especially when you add modifications and yada 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 on top of the car, right? It just keep that chatter, that talk going. That's what brings the community together, especially as always American versus German and other foreign cars out there. So that's what's just pretty dope about that. But with that being said, going in, did these numbers surprise me? Yes, coming from the people that's driving the car. Did I expect it to beat the Mustang? Yes, I did expect it to beat the Mustang. But did it surprise me where it's the fast production car? No, because based on paper, we already know what the ZR1 and ZR1X do. But this is where I feel like where the internet kind of like compared the two. Oh, it's we got the ZR1 going against the Mustang, and they're looking at the price value. And if you take the price out of it, looking at it, I'm not really surprised that the Corvette did what it did, because we all know that the Corvette is like the top tier, the pinnacle. Now, this would have been impressive to me, where if it was more like, okay, you got the Corvette versus like the Ford GT, the top one that they use, or the Corvette versus like the Viper, because y'all know, be honest, with the big three, these are like they pinnacle cars, and that's pretty much what all GM has. Dodge doesn't have the Viper no more, so it's like the big brother picking on the little brothers of the other ones. That's how I'm really looking at it. So it would have been more attractive from Chevy if they came out with a Gen 7, didn't kill off the Camaro, but came out with a Gen 7 version and then try to compete against the GTD. That would have been dope. Now, is that still in the works? Is that in the making, that's in progress? Who knows? It may be. But I'm also just impressed by what Mustang did and the engineering they put into it and that car as a whole, because I must say this is like one of my favorite Mustangs that they have built of all time, especially with the gooseneck rear wing. That's just dope. The wide body with the flares on there, and then with the vents on the side. Like, that whole car in general looks good. And the fact that that car was about what, 4,300 pounds, 800 horsepower, front wheel drive. I mean, not front wheel, still motor in the front. I mean, it put out those type of numbers. That's pretty dope. Versus what the Corvette does is mid-engine. It has, it was 4,000 pounds, and it has the better aerodynamics and everything going forward. So it should have beat the Mustang GTD based on how it looks and on paper. So that is what's dope about it. And I must say, like, it would have been more attractive coming from Chevy. Just my thoughts here that, okay, it would be more attractive if they came out with another Camaro, and it would have been made more sense because, as y'all know, in the streets, there's always Camaro Mustang beef. It's not really like, oh, Corvette Mustang beef. If a Mustang do go against the Corvette, it's more like, okay, what can we do to beat it? Because we know that the Corvette is aerodynamic and all that stuff, and what does it take for a Mustang to beat the Corvette, you know? So that's how I'm looking at it there. Y'all drop a comment below and let me know what y'all think about the Nürburgring times. Is it worth it? Do you think it was good numbers? Are you curious to see what it put down with a professional driver in both cars? You know, because even on the Ford side, they didn't have a professional driver, and on GM side, they didn't have a professional driver. But these are the numbers that we have, and these are the numbers that they're quoting by. So, yes, is the numbers easy? No. I mean, there's no challenge at all there, like that. Anybody can just go out there and get these numbers at especially a complicated track like the Nürburgring. But I've been more impressed if it was like a Camaro versus the Mustang to compare there. So I can't wait to see what GM comes out with. Maybe this Gen 7 Camaro would be something to compete with the GTD based on like the emissions that's going on, and Trump pretty much putting a damper down on like the EVs, and he want to bring America back again, and you know, we may bring the V8s back again and all that stuff. So maybe the car culture may do a quick turnaround, may do a complete 360. And this is now something I want to think about and wonder, like, hey, the Gen 7 Camaro, just wishful thinking, like, okay, what will be the next track variant that GM can come out with the Camaro platform if they decide to bring it back? Because we already know what the ZR1 Elite can do. That was 716. And we already know that, okay, wow, the Chevrolet, Z06 of the C8 did like a 7-minute Nürburgring time. So I'm curious to see, like, if they really like focus down and hone down on the Camaro and put a lot of more aerodynamic into it, just like how Mustang did, how far will the Camaro actually go? Because that'd have been more impressive, because you got two of the same cars, two of the front engine cars, two of the rear wheel drive cars, put a dual clutch transmission in the Camaro, just like how Ford did the Mustang, and let's see how far would it go, what type of numbers would it put down. So that's my thoughts on it. Major shout out to Chevy again, making this progress, you know, being back at the top of the food chain and letting the Ford, you know, fanboys enjoy their little glory for a little minute. And that's my thoughts on it. I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. And like that, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.